if you get the right people in the innovative role and just kind of give them free reign, weird but fun shit happens.
This week in whiskey news, Angel's Envy hasn't had a master distiller since 2013, which seems kind of crazy to me, but they have just made a hire this week. Kind of a surprising persona coming on over, but yeah, I didn't know that Angel's Envy kind of had that slot open.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they were. I mean, I didn't see the job posting, not that I was looking for it, but I didn't see that this would be something coming down the line. Who would have imagined that Angel's Envy would even be bringing in a master distiller at all, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Like I want to say that they're transparent, but really I can't. Like we don't know what of their stocks are sourced. We don't know what's their in-house distillate. They tell us, yeah, we make everything, but you can say that when you take someone else's distillate, put it in your own wine barrels. Like, it's kind of an opaque factory. Like I like some of the products that come out, and maybe this is a step towards making Angel's Envy a little more conventional of an operation, which I think a lot of whiskey, drinkers who know whiskey would appreciate. But Owen Martin has left Stranahan's distillery over in Colorado, which I think to me is the most surprising part. So what we know about Stranahan's, they are a single malt producer over in Colorado. They do things like Diamond Peak and Snowflake. They do make a great American single malt, but other than their kind of penchant to using wine finishes, it seems like an interesting transition to bring a single malt distiller over to primarily what I'd consider a bourbon distillery who sometimes does rye. They do weird finishes, which I think is probably the relevance here. But when they announced they made the hire, like I could not be more shocked that this is who they picked.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Talk about what appears to be stylistically different directions entirely, right? Of making American single malt in Colorado to going to a brand that is more or less putting everything that they make into a wine barrel to finish. Very, very interesting. I think it could make some beautiful music. I don't know what their plans are, but I'm excited to see what this does for future releases.
I'm with you there. So looking at the release, it says starting on October 17th, so a couple more weeks to go. Martin is going to take over all aspects of not only production, but he's going to oversee innovation now. Overseeing innovation has brought some of our favorite people like Jane Bowie and Will Schragus from, Barrel and Maker's Mark, but he's also going to be looking over the cast strength program and the limited release seller collection and founders collection. So that tells me they hired this guy because he knows how to put whiskey in a unique barrel, because that's all Angel's Envy is about. They did the cider finish this year. They've been testing with different kinds of wine. Like that is kind of their shtick. So, maybe this is less about distilling and more about kind of becoming a cellar master and figuring out where the whiskey fits best in, a finishing barrel for those kind of big barrel releases that we all know Angel's Envy does.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you brought up, actually. Looking at a lot of these brands like Barrel Craft Spirits, they take what they call ingredients and put them together in the right combination look at things like seagrass that we absolutely love that nobody would have ever thought of except for those guys, right? Like if you get the right people in the innovative role and just kind of give them free reign, weird but fun shit happens.
I mean, give them the company credit card and go tell them to buy some barrels. I think it's working for places like Starlight, obviously working for Barrel. I hope that they give this guy like a pack of lawn darts and are like, we bought 100 unique barrels. Just start throwing some darts and see where they land. But overall, I wish him well. I have been hoping that Angel's Envy would maybe put a little more gusto into their production and trying to get like serious whiskey drinkers who don't just like sweet whiskey. So I think it's a good move. I've always liked Stranahan, so I think I'm curious to see how it turns out.